Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. It is our ninth full-time Reds of the season. It is finished at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 2, Liverpool 1. I'm your host, Matt. I'm joined by my regular compadres in Chris Brack and Kev O'Sullivan. Kev, how you doing tonight?
I'm all right. I'll be better later on.
Isn't that the truth?
I feel sick. I feel sick after watching that. I feel sick at the result, but not the performance. I feel sick at the result and the way it happened, not the performance.
Yeah. It's going to be a slightly different show tonight. It feels like before we get properly into it, Chris, first off, man, I love the images and videos you got from the Women's Day. So that's great for you. How you feeling? I mean, highs to lows there for you this weekend.
Yeah, I think yesterday was a personal high, which we might talk to at the end of the game when I'm feeling a bit better. But look, it's past 6 o'clock, so I hope kids are. I'm fucking raging. I'm absolutely raging. No one likes to lose. You know, we all have times you think, oh, it's gone against us, but there is so much wrong with that result and that officials. Sorry, the gang of dickheads. Honestly, God, they couldn't find water to fill off a boat. It's ridiculous. We'll go through the decisions, but look, I feel sorry because 15 of those lads, did everything you want from a Liverpool team. And listen, it's our first loss since 1st of April, which is about 17, 18 games. And to beat Liverpool, you had to disallow a goal that was onside. And it definitely is onside because if it wasn't, the image would have come out by now. And you had to get down to 9 men. And then it was an own goal with 20 seconds to go. That's what it takes to beat this new Liverpool. So listen, we have to take our licks. The 3 points are gone. So we've got to find another way of gaining them back somewhere else in a different result. But fuck me, I've not seen an official that bad in ages. And I've just found out this is the same dickhead who did the Man United Wolves game where he couldn't see Ronaldo punching a fella's head off. So, that's the level of competency we've got as officials for apparently one of the best leagues in the world. Give me a rest.
Yeah. Everybody that watches these shows will know I'm kind of a stickler for following things through chronologically, and I think I'm going to have a tough time doing that tonight because I am so furious with how that match ended because in no way, shape, or form did we not deserve at least a point, even with the 2 red cards. And I'm going to throw this comment up here from Just Hannah that says the Spurs lap of honor at the end shows the tiny-minded club they actually are. They kind of got some pelters, especially from Arsenal fans after they celebrated the 2-2 draw in the North London Derby last weekend. That I can understand. This was a result that the Spurs fans should have just held their hands up in apology, like we know we won, but and
I think for that, because I don't really want to go in on Spurs because it's not their fault that.
No, that's what you hold.
Piss off.
Yeah,
I think the reason they're doing the lap of honour is I think the Ange guy is trying to do probably similar thing to the Klopp thing. When we got a draw with West Brom, is getting a result that you probably should have done better with. But also, it's the first time they've beaten us in that stadium. Last time they beat us, they played at Wembley. So that's a while. So again, it's another mentally for them. It's a little tick box. I'm like, okay, well, we did what Spurs don't do, which is went to the last whistle again and got a winner. So I can kind of understand why Spurs are doing that. Look, they're basically trying to become anti-Spursy, which is, not throwing it away or not doing it. Because to be honest, they were 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, if back on another 30 seconds of us holding out, Ange and Spurs are in absolute turmoil because they're going, we can't beat 9 men. That's a different proposition for them. But honestly, I don't know how you want to handle this, Matt, because we can talk through lineups and like that. But and I suppose I don't think we really care. I think we just need to talk through the state of games, the state of play. The only way, and I've tweeted this out, it's just my opinion, is the only way this officiating is ever going to get better, and it's going to take a long time, is going to be if the likes of Sky, TNT, Paramount, everyone like that goes to the Premier League and goes, this is, I hate this phrase, this is ruining the product. We don't want to keep seeing every game going down to 10 fucking men or 9 men or, we want to see good football. this is making games shit. Because what I've said, people turn off, and they don't want that. Because if you're paying billions for these deals, you kind of want to get your money's worth. And until that happens, these tickets will change.
Yeah, I mean, we can go through the lineups, I guess, because we did eventually, like, we started with 11 players, even though we finished with 9. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a pretty stock standard lineup. It tells me that Trent's not fit to start from the off in a Premier League game. He's going to be held back for at least another game, if not another week. Probably see him playing almost certainly away to Brighton next weekend. But Gomez plays right back. Matip keeps his berth instead of Konate. I don't think any of our players played poorly. Like, again, I'm going to be jumping all over because
not the start of that anyway.
Well, 15 out of the 16 players that crossed the white line to play competitively for Liverpool today played well, and we'll let Chris have his go at number 16 later. We got through the opening minutes of the game. Like, both teams went out pretty much as red. There was no huge surprises in team selection from either team. We get through the first 20 minutes, I thought, very well. We didn't make any crazy mistakes. Spurs were holding the ball, passing around at the back. You know, we were finding the way that our press was going to match up against how they were trying to play out from the back. But it all went pretty good for the first 20 minutes, right?
For 26 minutes, we had a really good game.
Yeah.
26 minutes, it was everything that I hoped it would be when we were talking the other night on the show. And it was exactly what I thought it would be. Both sides going at each other, both sides pressing each other. We had more chances, better chances, and everything changed on the red card. And you can all come for me in the chat now because, rightly or wrongly, that's a red card.
Oh, no.
And
oh, no. Come on.
I'll tell you why. Someone else said it there in a minute.
No, it's not.
Someone else said it a minute ago there. Basically saying that Curtis he got the ball and then his follow through went on his ankle. His follow through went over his ankle. His studs were up. He got the top half of the ball, and that caused his momentum took him to go in on his ankle. Once he went to the monitor, and the first thing that he sees is that still image. That still image is in his head, and no doubt that influences his decision. But when you see it follow all the way through, there's no other decision that was ever going to come from that. There's none. It's just one of those things with the way modern football has gone that it doesn't count. There's no such thing as intent. There's no such thing as, he's done him. It's literally force, height, and reckless, dangerous. And you can definitely make the argument that those are there for that tackle.
Okay,
he basically he miscontrolled the ball. There was a miscontrol of the ball. He lunged to try to win it back. How many times do you see it? Player goes to retrieve a ball that is bouncing in the air. He goes through. He doesn't intend to hurt him at all. There's no intent whatsoever. But he gets the top half of the ball. His foot skims the top of the ball, rolls over the top of the ball, and his natural follow through. There's no other way. There's no other place for his foot to land but on Basuma's ankle. No other way. The only thing that he can do is not make the tackle in the first place. That's all he can do. Once he decides to go for the ball, and that happens where he gets the top half of the ball and he rolls over the top of it, it was inevitable that he was going to hit that part of his leg, and his ankle, his leg literally just bent.
All right, Kev,
there's no other logic.
Let's take it back to force. Let's take it back to force, because force is a term from physics, and force in a vacuum will stay at the same rate. But it wasn't in a vacuum because his foot went all the way across the top of the ball, slowing with every inch that it rolled over the ball. It wasn't a lunging in tackle. No. It wasn't an out of control tackle. He was playing the ball.
It wasn't excessive.
He rolls through the ball, and it's unfortunate that Basuma's ankle happened to be in the way. But the fact that you say there was no other outcome from him trying to play that ball than it being a red card, that beggars belief. There has to be a situation in every moment in a football match that can't 100% be a red card situation.
If that's the case,
it doesn't work like that anymore.
But if that's the case,
the way they've changed
Oh, sorry, go on, let you finish. Go on.
So I was saying, the way they've changed the rules over the last 4 or 5 years to take what they think a player is thinking out of the equation, and you're literally just basically looking at the images that are in front of you. That's all they can go on. They can literally just go on the images that are in front of you. There's the ball. He skips the top half of the ball, and he's there. It's just a his body can go nowhere else. The only thing that he could have done was not make the tackle in the first place. And I'm convinced that when the ref went to the monitor, the very first thing that he saw was that image. And that image alone looks like he's done him there. You know, and when you watch the whole thing in play, it's like, no, he hasn't done him. It's just the way the ball and his body is rolled.
Well,
look, I get the anger and I get the frustration. But I can't understand why that image was there.
It settles it though, because Chris, I don't know if on your guys' feed it had the same angle as Simon Hooper ran towards the monitor. That the worst possible image out of all of the 24 frames per second, they picked the most incriminating one, and that's all he saw as he ran towards it, and it completely set the context for him making that decision, right?
Sky show from behind and show it's not a straight leg because his leg's slightly bent. It does get in the middle of the ball. His ball goes over it. There is no excessive force because he doesn't lunge harder. It's slowed down because he's hit the ball. And they even to show the angle, and they go from the angle they show, go, which is what basically in line with the player, like what the player sees. They go, that doesn't tick all the boxes to be a red card, you know. So, but again, and it's back to this nonsense with VAR is let's show it in slow motion. Fucking everything looks rubbish in slow motion. It looks 10 times worse in slow motion. For me, it's never been a red card, and you know. We saw, I'll be honest, McAllister got booked 10 minutes later for a yellow card. To be honest, that tackle was worse than Jones's. You know, so if we're saying that's a definite red card, McAllister should have gone, so we should have played with 8. You know, and no one screamed for the McAllister red card. He barely got a mention. It's just McAllister gets a yellow. He showed the yellow. It's pretty much a similar tackle, if anything, a little bit worse, and that doesn't get brought up. Look, there's no point people saying, like, let's ask me if it ain't going to get rescinded. Straight reds just don't get rescinded.
No, it's different than McAllister's. It's different than McAllister's. McAllister's was obviously wrong. This one, you can at least see the justification for it being red.
There's a way they could argue it.
I just think there was a sliding doors moment when that tackle happened where Simon Hooper could have gone left and refereed a decent game, or he could have gone right and refereed the game that he ended up refereeing. And he got it right on the field. But it's why I put Anthony Boylan's comment up here. He says the VAR plonker was 100% convinced it was a red. So why would you make him have another look? If it's a certain red card, just say it over the comms and have a red card. Don't even send him. And that's what I said in the Telegram group. If it's so obvious, the VAR was 100% sure that was a straight red card. It was a clear and obvious error by the official. Save Simon Hooper the run to the side of the field. Save the theatrics, save the time wasting on the part of the officials. Let's just get on with it. Just have the VAR overrule him like they do in other sports. He doesn't need to go look. You're telling him there's no other outcome than a red card, and that's just not the tackle. That tackle wasn't a 100% red card. It's not a clear and obvious error.
But exactly, she's clear and obvious error. Kev thinks it is. I don't think it is. You don't think it is. I've seen Times journalists, Daily Mail journalists, Mirror journalists. I've seen like 7 or 8 different journalists. Some say red, some say soft, some say never in a million years. That's so subjective that if the referee said it's not a red card, then you don't overturn it because it's so subjective. It's not like in me, it's not a stone wall thing. That's where you go. If they want to follow their protocol, it's like, well, the on the field official said no, and this ref going to the monitor bollocks off. Because you and I both know, Kev knows this. I think I've seen twice an official go to a monitor and stick to the decision. One was against Liverpool, against Fulham, where a penalty wasn't given to Fulham, and was the Champions League for Spurs against City, where they looked at the official. I don't think that's handball, so I would give them the goal. Outside of that, 99.9% of decisions that go to the monitor is reversed. So just bin it off. Just do an announcement. VAR's looked at it. VAR said
They're
red
not
card.
going to.
Back.
They're not
They should
going
do.
to because the
bullshit,
traditionalists out there, I know it's bullshit, but the traditionalists out there would argue the referee on the pitch should make the final decision.
Well, the traditionalists,
And that's what you're left with.
but the traditionalists that we talk about, let's call him out, dickhead Neville, is now saying that's nonsense. He called for it, so it can be changed again. It's just pointless. It makes the whole thing pointless. I don't need the theatric.
All right, conspiracy theory time based off of Jono's comment here. We've been on the end of every big call this season. Coincidence after Jurgen Klopp bashing refs last season? Question mark. No one can tell me they are refereeing our games neutrally. We've already had a red card overturned. So that's a comment from Jono.
We're probably not getting 50-50s, I would say.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting 50-50.
But we all said at the time, you go at the officials and you don't succeed, it is going to go against you. Listen, I'll be honest.
Always going to come
if
back.
Come for the king, you better not miss, right?
If VAR was around when Fergie was in charge, you'd have probably seen a lot of things go against Man United because Fergie used to go for them all the time. But they had nothing to sort of use against him. Now they have, so. But to be honest, I actually don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I just think they're all fucking incompetent. Because literally, we saw yesterday, there was a decision for Brentford, which took 5 minutes to work out whether it was a goal or not. And then they realised they were looking at the wrong fella for the offside. And you go like, and that's happened twice this year.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Jake Semister shares with us that the PGMOL have released an official apology for the Diaz goal, saying it was human error and it should have been a goal. How many people are on the VAR crew? Four on the VAR crew plus the linesman in real time. So that's a 5-man error. So that's what we get. We get an official apology.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe it's going to get safe, and people think this is a bad, but I think it's got to get to that stage where maybe now the likes of Wolves, Liverpool, human error. That's fine. I'm gonna take legal action against you because you're not doing your job. You're not fit for purpose, and you can start really going at things like this. You can start using their charter, which says it's to hold the integrity of the game, to protect the game. Here are examples that you're not doing it. How many of these officials do we have to go on the back of it? Do you know what will happen? Those two VAR lads, they won't manage next week. They'll be back a week later.
Yeah, they'll be stood down for a week.
Stood down for a week. Oh, big whoop. Because ultimately, I don't want an apology because, great, we should have had a goal. Great. Doesn't help me now. Do you know what I mean? I can't get.
Do you know what I want instead of an apology? I want them to do the official half-hour program where Howard Webb goes on and discusses, contentious refereeing decisions. But instead of having Michael Owen host it, I want Jurgen Klopp to be the host so that Jurgen can ask him a few questions about this. I'm just going to say, okay, first off, we got a good number of people watching us tonight. I appreciate that. If you're here and you're new and you haven't already, please hit the like button for us. That would be extremely appreciated. Also, we have a charity partner. So if you're the charitable type, check out the link in the description of the YouTube episode or afterwards if you're listening on a podcast or any of the Daytripper social media. You can help out our charity partners, a bunch of women raising money for breast cancer awareness by running a marathon. So if that's not selfless, I don't know what else is. Let me just read the statements. Okay, I love it.
PGMOL acknowledged a significant human error occurred during the first half of Tottenham Hotspur versus Liverpool. The goal by Luis Diaz was disallowed for offside by the on-field team of match officials. It was clear and obvious factual error and should have resulted in the goal being awarded through VAR intervention. However, the VAR failed to intervene. PGMOL will conduct a full review of the circumstance which led to the error. PGMOL will immediately be contacting Liverpool at the conclusion of the fixture to acknowledge their error.
This is an in-person job. There's no way Howard Webb can send a text message or make a phone call, leave a voicemail. This is one where he's going to have to drive up, and that's bad because that's what happened to Brighton all last season was the errors against them were so bad that Howard Webb felt required to drive out to their grounds and apologize in person. So I imagine the Liverpool hierarchy will be getting a visit from one Mr. H. Webb very shortly for that. It's infuriating, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't let through the door. Bad. If I was Liverpool, I wouldn't let through the door. Oh, Howard wants to come and talk to you. Do us a favour, Howard. Save your petrol money. Fuck off. We're not interested. I think Liverpool should just come out with a statement going, we acknowledge what the PGMOL said. They should do better. We're not interested in apologies. Fuck off. Because what's it going to do? dear Jurgen, I'm really sorry. I've drove up to Liverpool to say I'm really sorry. Jurgen's going to go, great. What do you want to do with that? Is that going to get me a point back? No. Is that going to help me in any way? No. Is that going to help that bit on the back end of so many shit decisions? No. Why are you here? Why are you wasting my time? Let me go coach my team. Go and coach my team. Go and talk to someone else.
Yeah. So some statistics after Jones's red card. It made it our third red card in our last 6 games. Before those 6 games, we had 3 red cards in 168 games, which is almost 4.5 seasons worth of games. So something has changed where all of a sudden we are the most dirty, filthy, rash team in the entire league. Or it could be that our, manager stood up to the officials, that our left back got elbowed in the face by a certain jacked Greek linesman.
We've also now had 2. We're also now going to be on our second apology, so I think we're ahead on the apology stakes now. Which is, that's a league of its own.
Yeah, we got a super chat here for €2.49 from Cantors that says they can stick their apology, where. And I would like to thank Cantors for using the proper use of there, and there on that one, because that's a tricky one for people on the internet. How about a curveball? Chris, come to you. Their first goal was very good, wasn't it? James Maddison gets his head up, plays Richarlison through in space. Great cross by Richarlison. Good run and finish by Heung-min Son. 1-0.
Yeah, listen, up until we equalised, I was actually kept going, Jock, if we get to half-time 1-0 down, we'll do well here, because Spurs' first half did what Newcastle didn't do, which is they kept wide with pure pace cutting in. And it was a nightmare. Joe Gomez actually had a good game, but it's a clever ball. It reminds me of the one Royce played between Lovren and Klein in the Europa League. It's that perfect pass between fullback and centre-back, where fullback doesn't know where he is, centre-back can't get over quick, won't be able to get over quick enough. Fair play to Richarlison, plays it over with pace. And look, Son's a great player. Scores, If I'm being hypercritical, I am looking at 2 centre-backs going, should one of them maybe dropped a bit sooner? But listen, it was such a quick move. Maybe I'm nitpicking. But you were thinking about, uphill battle here. But look, you can't fault them. It was a really good goal. And that's one thing Spurs have got. They've got a starting front 3 in Richarlison, Son, and Kulusevski, which is all pace. And when you've got that level of pace up front, it will always hurt 11 players, let alone 10. So, look, can't knock them. It was a really good goal.
Yeah. Kev, I don't know if you have anything else on the goal, but I'm going to go back to the red card, because this is something else I took from the game. I think this is a huge opportunity for Ryan Gravenberch. I think with Jones being out for 3 games, I think
it's only 1.
I think he'll only get a 1-game ban, because I think they'll relook at it. There was nothing malicious about it. There was nothing violent about it. I think they'll look at it, and hopefully it'll just be a 1-game ban. I think you're right. I think Ryan Gravenberch will definitely benefit from this. Plus, no doubt, Jota and Cody will play midweek, so Ryan Gravenberch has the chance to get himself ready for Brighton at the weekend. But look, I'm just sat here. I've just been sat here now for the last few minutes, just digesting that statement.
Awful,
goals change games, and it's a completely different fucking game when you score that and you go in. You're down to 10 men, but you're ahead. You manage the game differently. You play the game differently. It's a completely different animal of a game where you don't have to overcommit. You can play within yourself and you can contain Spurs. And let's be fucking brutally honest here. Spurs got 3 points today from a mistake from us. Spurs did absolutely fucking nothing to earn 3 points today. They were down against 9 men, and they huffed and puffed, and they couldn't do fuck all. It took a mistake.
The other thing I would say to Spurs, give a slight bit of credit is, and we'll come to it a bit later, is in the second half there is one worldy save by Allison and another very good save. After that, there was fuck all they produced then until.
Well, I'll go. At the end of the day, that's Allison's job. That's why.
Yeah, it is.
He's the best in the world for a reason. And when you're defending, when you're playing with 10 men, you trust him. You trust him to be able to do what he needs to do to keep you in games so that you can go up the other end and create a chance and score. You create a chance, you score a fucking goal. They have all the technology in the world at their fucking fingertips to make sure that they get the decisions right. After a contentious red card, we've argued about the red card. I think it's a red. You guys don't. Fair enough. We can argue about that till the cows come home. Line decisions are a matter of fucking fact. You're either right or you're wrong. There's a reason why semi-automated technology was brought in the Champions League and Europa League. It's because it takes the human equation out of it.
Yeah.
You're either
removes human error
or you're offside.
Yeah.
There is no fucking questions then. The fact that you've got a game-changing decision, it's contentious with a red card, but a line decision to be fucking contentious after VAR has been in the game for 4 years and they still can't fucking get it right. For fuck's sake.
Hey, Nigel.
How much more have we got to put up with this?
Nigel, you don't get his WhatsApps, mate. This is quite wild. His WhatsApps are even worse.
Listen, I like VAR. I support VAR. I think it's a great addition to the game. Purely and simply, it was brought in because of the incompetence of referees. And we saw it in the League Cup during the week where we didn't have VAR. Yeah, we didn't have VAR.
That was just as bad.
And let's just score the goal on the back of a foul on Simicast and a questionable offside. All right, but you got to put up with it because the referees are there. You talked about tinfoil hat earlier on. It's hard to fucking argue it now. The fact that we're having so many contentious decisions, so many 50-50s going against you. The fact that McAllister got sent off and it got rescinded. Virgil got sent off for having a go at the ref. At the end of the day,
Virgil got extended.
But he got his ban extended for having a pop at the ref. How many fucking captains have you seen having pops at referees since then? Loads.
Bruno Fernandes.
Every game, every captain does it. Every game, not just Virgil.
You guys know me well enough. I don't come on here ranting and raving and shouting and bawling and losing my temper over stupid things. I'm fuming at the fact that we lost that game in the way that we lost it, not through problems on the pitch. The fact that that was a legitimate goal.
Yeah.
They should have counted. And you knew something was wrong straight away.
Kev, it wasn't a hard decision. It looked offside in real time. When you saw it in real time, I thought he's offside. They showed one angle, and it was like, he looks like he's a yard onside. Like, not even close. Like, it's close in real time, but when you slow it down, you can look at the image that the ball leaves Mo's foot for the pass to Diaz. You look at it, and you're like, he's well onside. Like, this might be a goal. And they just played on. Now, I put this comment up from Craig Lowe because it reminded me of something from the game. Craig Lowe says, they lied saying it wasn't checked. Because it said on my feed, the commentators mentioned that on all 4 of the big screens around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, after Simon Hooper had already restarted play after the Diaz goal for the offside, that it said VAR checking for about 20 or 30 seconds after play had been restarted. And then it just disappeared off of the screens. Like, it's like they realized they made a mistake, but Simon Hooper had already restarted the game, and they were like, well, fuck, I guess we can't give it now.
Exactly. It could have been Simon Hooper hasn't followed protocol. It could also, the human error might not be, worryingly, the human error might not be the VAR officer. It might be the on-the-field official who just started the game and hadn't waited for the note to say, yeah, we've checked that, mate, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
we
don't know who it is. So one of them balls, though. Oh, well,
listen, do you remember going back when this stuff happened with the Greek linesman and Robbo?
Yeah.
And I remember saying in the post-match, they're going to find a way to screw us down the line.
But I think that's what if you watch the Virgil thing, one of the officials puts his hand on him to say to get down, and you can see him, wow, don't put your effing hands on me again. Which is, I'm not surprised. Players are like, well, listen, one of our lads got cracked in the face, and he got a sorry, I won't do it again. So I'm not surprised. Players are also a bit like, don't come near me. So it's just anyway. But we equalised. That was nice.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a nice goal. It was a nice goal, to be fair.
it's got to be. Oh no, we scored in 4 minutes of injury time in the first half. Yeah, it's two sides of a coin. We got positives and negatives. Cody Gakpo gets fouled by Destiny Udogie, who picks up a yellow card for it when he rolls over the back of Gakpo's leg. We've also completely passed over the fact that Joe Gomez was taken down in the box, and it looked like it was a clear penalty. But
they showed the replay. I think on the replay they showed.
Yeah, I've seen the replay.
He does touch the ball first, and then
he gets the ball first. Yeah.
Which I think gets him off.
So getting the ball first negates anything
that comes
after
that's natural. That's natural. That was natural.
The front foot gets the ball, back foot catches Joe, but it's
all right. That was natural, and the ball was
what
dead.
If that was given against Liverpool, if that penalty was given against us, you think we're mad now? We'd be screaming even more, to be honest. For that.
I don't know if I honestly, Chris, I don't know if I would be madder if that penalty was given against us. That's the sort of thing that you've seen before, but getting a clear and obvious offside decision incorrect. I can understand how the side official. I can understand how the side official gets it wrong in real time. I can get that. That's human error. But the VAR is supposed to be there. The technology is supposed to be there. The multiple cameras in 1080p and 120 frames per second with all the 3D technology they have.
Especially in that ground.
It's state of the art. It's the most state of the art ground probably in the league. So
they have one of the world's greatest cheese shops in the concourses. So I mean, how can it not have fantastic VAR?
Exactly. So,
but I mean, it's a great finish by Gakpo for the leveler.
Sadly, looks like he hurt himself doing it, which is hopefully.
I think the injury came from the tackle before. I think the injury stemmed from the tackle by Udogie.
I think he went over his ankle as he turned.
No, he went over on his ankle when he goes on the turn. He literally his foot, instead of planting his foot on the turn, the point of his foot went down onto the turf first, and it stuck. You could see it sticking, and he literally turned his whole body weight on the point of his foot. And he got his shot off, but the second he put weight on it, you just knew.
And there's
it was just one of those. It was still a brilliant finish. And it was the minimum that we deserved for that half, because up until the Curtis Jones red card, we were the more threatening. We were the ones who looked more likely to do anything. But they say goals change games. At 1-1, got in at half time, I was like, I was fairly confident of the fact that with the chances that we were creating, even with 10 men, with more up front, given how cavalier Spurs were being, I thought, even with 10, we're going to get chances. Allison with a long goal kick, Virgil with a crossfield ball. Something will break for us. A set piece. You can call it whatever. We will get chances. And while we had 10 men on the pitch, we did. We created enough chances. There was occasions where Mo was going on a break. There was one in the second half. I know we skipped on a bit, but there was one in the second half where he was one-on-one with Basuma. And for whatever reason, I think he was trying to slow down for everyone else to catch up with him.
Yeah.
But he slowed the place, and Basuma just got to him. But there were plenty of other occasions where it just needed a bit more bravery, I suppose, would be the one word, for others to try to be a bit closer to him. But at the same time, look, I always fancied us, even with 10 men, that we would get a chance that would get a lead.
The officiating's bad when Mo Salah's getting booked for dissent.
Yeah.
Because all things Mo Salah, he gets annoyed. But it's self-annoyed, isn't it? But him going berserk at an official, that's not how... of all the players we've got, Nunes and a few of the others, we're used to them going berserk at the official. It's not really a Mo thing.
Plot that often.
No, he loses a plot with himself, when he misses chances and stuff like that, but not with official. He normally sort of keeps a lid on that. That's just kind of how he's built. Yeah. And I wonder if he's also gets that ball going, what's the point? And sure, it was a foul on Basuma because he might step it, but he does yank his arm, so it is a foul. I think, again,
it is a foul.
He's annoyed with himself because he knows I should have just carried on skinning him instead of, But yeah,
he got done for kicking the ball away, and at the end of the day, that's the level of petulance from referees that you're dealing with. They're booking people for basically You know what they say? Like not all contact is a yellow card. Not all fouls are yellow cards.
Not all dissents yellow card as well.
Not all dissent is yellow card either.
Not according to the language that they've given the officials, though. The language says if a player gestures for a yellow card, it's an automatic yellow card.
But
if a player runs from a distance to approach the official, it's an automatic yellow card. If more than one player approaches the referee to contend a decision, it's an automatic yellow card. If there's more than two people in the technical area, it's an automatic yellow card. And we saw that in the first
Back in a sec, I got to get another can.
That's not a bad idea. We saw that in the first week of the season, Chris, and then they abandoned it completely.
We've seen fuck all since. Because
they've abandoned it completely. I saw it in the 10 o'clock games. In the City game against Wolves, there was one point where I believe it was a Kanji that did a full diss right in the referee's face, and the ref just walked away. He didn't give a yellow to the Wolves player, but he also didn't give a yellow to a Kanji. And it's the Paul Heckingbottom Memorial Podcast Hour, I think, for the next couple of days across everybody's channels, because Paul Heckingbottom he was the canary in the coal mine, it seems like, because he came out a couple weeks ago. I know Gav gave him his winner of the week on winners and losers that week for having the full go at the officials. He's probably going to lose his job, very much like the canary does. But I mean,
but also Klopp, what I've seen in the comments, Klopp's been quite clever because he's just said, like, you think it's funny, it's quite expensive. And he's not saying it more because Klopp's got a one-game ban hanging over his head that if he says anything. So, they've already silenced the loudest dissenter. So you actually now need one of these decisions to go against United or City, God forbid, or, Arsenal. You need someone else to kick off because Klopp can't say anything, really, unless Klopp gets his assistant to come out and talk. Unless he gets Pep Linders to come out and do a post-match interview and say to Pep Linders, just go in on them. If you get a ban, I'll pay you fine. Just do the
Let's jump ahead,
Let's
Chris.
do that.
My favorite part of the game, my absolute favorite part of the officiating farce that we saw tonight was on 86 minutes when, of all people, Peter Krawietz got a yellow card for dissent towards the officials. The eye, not even Buvac. Buvac is long. I don't know. He could be dead by now. Who knows? Peter Krawietz does nothing but write quietly in his notebook, and he was so mad that Peter Krawietz, of all people, got a yellow card. It's my favorite part of the whole game. It might even have been, even if Joe Gomez had scored a winning goal, I think Peter Krawietz getting a yellow card is less likely than Joe Gomez scoring for Liverpool at this point. Like, that's the farce that we were at today.
Yeah, honestly, I've only heard Peter Krawietz speak twice, and they were on like documentaries. I've not actually seen him. On the official, he just sits there. Every time he gets up on Liverpool score, he celebrates. He sits back down. That's what he does. Gapper reportedly in a knee brace. It's not great. Hopefully that's just like a precaution. Once someone gets a twisted ankle, they put them in one of those moon boots just straight away, take all the pressure off.
Or like an American college football offensive lineman where you just wear knee braces when you're fully healthy because you know that your knees are going to go at some point. So I just want to talk, like, Kev, I'll come to you on this one. There are so many notes I have as angrily as my handwriting got as the game went on and on and on. At a 52 minutes, I wrote a giant bolded message to myself that just says, we have the best goalkeeper in the world, no doubt. Brilliant. Kev, can we wax lyrical about Allison Becker? Because the amount of game-changing saves this man makes beautifully is unlike any other goalkeeper that I've ever known.
Yeah, listen, he's unquestionably the best keeper in the world, and he has been there for a while. And the reason he is he does the difficult stuff and he makes it look so easy. His footwork is unbelievable.
The diving save.
Anticipation.
Yeah, my comms said, sorry to cut you off, but my comms said the diving save of like, that's a decent save by Allison. Then they showed the replay and it was John Champion and Andy Townsend. And Andy Townsend had to take his initial comment back. And he's like, that's an outstanding save by Allison.
It was a hell of an effort, bro. I think that was the Madison one, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he started it outside and it curled back in.
Oh,
but the thing is, Allison anticipated where he was going to go. He knew he wasn't going to go near post, but he does it so often that he must be such a student of the game that you don't just do this. He's watching all these players, knowing how they play, knowing where they like to shoot, knowing from which position in the box what they're likely to do. The fact that Allison didn't even shuffle or take a step, it was just his body weight was slightly on his right foot when Maddison was going to take that shot. He's ridiculous. I mean, if he was to be sold in this market,
oh my,
it would be double the fee that we paid for him, because he's the kind of keeper that is going to push us towards a league title charge this season. He is so good. His distribution today, his calmness under pressure, his ability to pick passes, and then you factor in his ability to make saves, his ability to make one save and then get up and make the second, and he's just doing stuff as if, yeah, lads, this is just what I do. This is it's going back to the Roy Key thing. This is my job.
Yeah. He's so relaxed when he bounces up. It's just nods going, oh yeah, cool, run it. Yeah, right, okay, I'll get rid of it.
Well, it's funny enough.
He doesn't celebrate it like most other keepers celebrate that, and you wouldn't blame him because they go like, "Oh, I've pulled a worldie out there." Please me so. He just stands up and goes, "Right, corner. What's next?"
Jordan Pickford would have done a 90-second long choreographed dance routine if he had made a save that good.
You need 3 picks just for the arm length.
Allison Becker is hands down the best keeper in the game, and when you look back, you're talking about the elites of the game in the last 30 years that are in the conversation, that he's in the conversation with. You're talking Manuel Neuer, Gigi Buffon, they're Peter Schmeichel. You're in that level of goalkeeper when you're having a conversation about this guy. Iker Casillas, another one. That's the level that he's at, and that's the level he's been consistently at ever since he came to Liverpool. He has the very odd blonde moment. He has the odd 5 minutes in a game where he has a complete brain fart. But other than that, over the course of a season, Oliver Kahn, another one. He is that good. We won't know how good we won't appreciate as fans. I think we all love him, but I don't think we'll really appreciate how good he is until he's gone, until you try to replace it. He is the single most underrated player at Liverpool Football Club, bar none, and it doesn't get talked about.
Do you know how crazy that is, Kev? Because of how underrated Mo Salah is, that Allison is even more underrated than Mo Salah. It's unbelievable. I'm gonna throw this one up from Vase of Flowers because I liked it. Sorry, Chris, I'll let you go in a second. Vase of Flowers says Vicario is better than Lloris. Not hard.
Oh yeah,
Vicario, Benicio del Toro, great film, which is very correct.
He's a decent keeper, to be fair. I just on post-match, I think definitely with you, Matt. That's what with Kev is. I've got stage where I have to correct myself with Allison saves. Where I go like, yeah, it's just what he does, and you go like, actually, no, that's actually a worldie. But I've got so used to him doing them, going like, well, that's what he does. When you look at like the one he saved last week against West Ham, it's an unreal save. But I've got to stage where you go like, yeah, but he always saves that, which is a mad way to be, isn't it? You got a world class keeper, and you sort of like shrugging out world class airs, going, yeah, it's just what he does. It's kind of a norm now.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
And the thing is, that's why I was confident, even with 10 men. That's why I was confident that we were going to get a point, because the longer the game went, the more they were taking pot shots from outside the box. Good luck with that. It was, look, we've got 2 banks of 4. You got Salah up front creating a threat. They'll overcommit and overcommit and overcommit, and eventually we'll catch them on a break. We'll get a counter right. I just couldn't see.
We'll bring on Darwin Núñez, right?
Yeah,
Well,
but I just thought
we would have done if someone been a dickhead.
Well,
but, you know.
I wanted to tee up, Chris, because I know you've been percolating nicely. We're 45 minutes in. Honestly, we could probably go on for 2 hours, but I cannot wait for tomorrow night's Fatback 4. I've got a holiday day on Monday here in Canada, so I got the day off work, so I cannot wait for the Fatback 4 tomorrow night, because Gav and the lads are going to, I'm sure, be full of very strong opinions about all of this.
Jurgen Klopp should just drop kick Jota, Arnold's and throw him. Honestly, I could absolutely murder him. The first yellow, I don't think it's a yellow. I think the ref actually got conned by the player because he just clips himself. But you know what? Soft yellows have happened plenty of times. McAllister is quite the master of the soft yellow, but then he's sensible the rest of the game. You know, Darwin Núñez in general gets a few soft yellows, apart from the one when he headbutts someone. He's normally quite sensible. It is absolutely moronic when you're on a yellow card. You know this ref's already been card happy. You know he's trigger happy. And within a minute, you're throwing just a wildly stupid challenge and fuck your team over, because ultimately Liverpool went down to 9 men. The chances of even getting a draw with 9 men, I mean, Christ, we got to within 30
almost
seconds
zero.
there. We're almost zero. But more annoying for Núñez, more annoying for Liverpool is you fucked your teammate over, because you could see the plan was to bring on Trent and to bring on Núñez. This was to do the Newcastle repeat. It was clearly to do the Newcastle repeat. And that game was set up for pace on the break, which was perfect for Darwin Núñez. As soon as he went to 9 men, you can see Klopp had to turn to Núñez. And Núñez, you can see he had to sit down. You know, then we had to
put his bib back on.
Yeah. He didn't move, did he?
No, it was then bring on Konate, bring on Trent, shut up shop, and we threw Gravenberch on, and we had to go to playing 5-3-0. He absolutely and totally, for an experienced player, shafted everyone. And listen, I like Jota. Jota has been brilliant for Liverpool, but he's absolutely fucked his whole team over there by being brain dead. And ultimately, whatever stick he gets, or for me, Klopp, it's a discipline thing, and you need to learn from this, because you knew he was card happy, and do you know what? He probably would have got away with that foul 10 minutes later, but to do one 30 seconds after, and where it was, he's going nowhere because he's running into danger, into 3 or 4 Liverpool players. So he wasn't helping us. It wasn't like a last ditch, I've just got to throw it in here and take one for the team. It was a nonsense foul in a no risk area. So he's ultimately fucking pain in the arse, really. I mean, listen, I think if Núñez was fully fit, he probably would have come on instead of Jota, but we found out pre-game Núñez is nursing a slight knee niggle. So they clearly wanted to put him on as late as possible, so as A, not to aggravate it, and B, what else can you do? But it just knackered us. We had to then take off Salah, take off Diaz. So any thoughts of winning the game was gone. And it was literally backs to the wall, let's hold out. And we got within 20 seconds of a really good draw, and I'd have been quite happy with that. But 15 of the lads, big credit to them. Big credit to the manager, because actually tactically, I thought he got it almost spot on with 10 men and 9 men. And not very many managers have to deal with 9 men.
Yeah,
it's quite a rare.
It's not even almost spot on, Chris. I think it's nailed on a perfect game plan of how to play with it. Like, there was a thing done, I think it was by Tifo after the Newcastle game, where a guy broke down how we played with the 10 men for that whole time. And it felt like we did the exact same thing. And it's a freak. Eventually we'll get on to Joel Matip having his, most unfortunate, no good, very bad day. I don't know, Kev. It's the Diogo Jota one, the second yellow card, like Chris was saying, it's indisputable. Once you're already on a yellow, if you ignore the circumstances of the first yellow card, it's 100% a yellow card tackle. And if you're already on 1, that's 2, that's a red card, and he has to go. And I agree with you, Chris. It was super unfortunate because it felt like, holy shit, are we having a Newcastle moment all over again, where we go down a man early on and Darwin Núñez comes off of the bench and wins the game with his electrifying pace and bang on finishing in his second season for Liverpool. But Kev, the first yellow card, he just trips over his own feet.
There's the camera angle that shows that in his running,
Yeah.
His back leg catches Jota's knee. Jota didn't change direction. He didn't flick out a leg. He didn't do anything. He literally just touched him. That caused one leg to knock onto the other. It was never a yellow card in a million years.
Yeah.
But once you give it, that's it. You don't go to ground anymore. You're as careful as the day is long. You don't lunge in. You don't make rash tackles. And you don't lose your head. And he did all of those things. He lost his head, made a rash tackle, and he got himself a second yellow, which was a yellow card. And he fucked everybody. At the end of the day, that's it. It's done. I'm not going to say any more about Diogo Jota than that. He knows that that can't fucking happen. You know, it's bad enough being down to 10. Being down to 9 against a side who are being touted now as one of the informed sides in the league with pace everywhere and technical ability and what have you, going down to 9 away from home with 20-odd minutes to go is criminal. But
yeah,
from then on, when we make the changes and he changes it to basically a 5-3, he brings Endo on, brings Gravenberch on, and he brings Trent on.
Trent and Ibu both come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just looked at it and I just looked at it for the last 20 minutes and I just thought, how bad were Spurs? How fucking, if you're a Spurs fan watching that last 20 minutes, how fucking terrible were you?
That's what brings it back to what I said about their celebrations afterwards. Like, you played so poorly against 10 and then even worse against 9. And you only got the 3 points because of the worst possible outcome of Joel Matip playing that ball.
Yeah.
He couldn't have struck it better.
Our plan was literally back 5, 3 in front of them screening. And they literally just said, okay, you can have the ball wide. We trust ourselves to deal with your crosses and what have you. And we'll go from there. If we get a break or anything like that, happy days. And they didn't get around the back very often. They were limited to pot shots from outside the box. They didn't break through the middle once. And we did everything that we could to survive. And at the end of the day, I feel gutted for Joel Matip because I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, he played very well.
Absolutely brilliant today. The fact that his ability to be able to, when we were down to 10, to carry the ball 30 yards and take it out from the back and relieve pressure and lay it off was outstanding. It's exactly what you want from your centre-back. When we went to the back 5, we looked as safe as houses. I still felt that we were going to get we deserved the point. We absolutely deserved the draw. Yeah, absolutely, 100% deserved the draw. It was unfortunate the way the goal went in. Technically, he could do better. It's the 96th minute. He went with his left foot and tried to clear it. He'll make that clearance 99 times out of 100.
His body shape's all wrong for it. But and I was fuming at the time because I was like, his body shape's wrong. But I'm also like, he's played half an hour with 9 men. He's played mentally. And let's be honest, Matip's not the most robust of defenders. So
I don't think it's a physical problem, though, Chris. I think it's
mentally he was knackered. Which, do you know what? I can understand that. And
because he knows that the clock was on 96 minutes. Yeah, he knows that you clear this, it goes out for a corner,
defend it,
and that's it. Game over. I feel sickened for the players that were left on the pitch for the effort that they put in, that they didn't get a point out of it. They absolutely deserved a point out of it. But they can take so much from this because it was leveled at us all last season, how defensively frail we were, how soft we were.
It's been leveled this season still.
But you look at that performance. You look at that performance with 9 men. And it was all hard. It was all hard. It was technical ability to be able to marshal your area, stay in shape, and shepherd Spurs into an area you wanted them to play in because you trust Allison. It was just unfortunate the way that it worked out, that it was Joel Matip that gave it away. It wasn't from anything to do with more than fucking pure dumb fucking luck, you know. And at the end of the day, like I said at the start of the show, Spurs done absolutely fucking nothing to win that game. Against 9 men, they deserved the point. because of, huffing and puffing and trying and what have you. It was just unfortunate for Joel that it was him who gave it up in the end. But won't go into our players once. It was just one of those fucking nights that sun shines in the dog's arse, and it happens. I can understand Tottenham celebrating. At the end of the day, they got
to
3
that
points.
extent, Kev.
Well,
they got 3 points. They brought their kids onto the pitch, Kev.
Look,
it's like they won a cup final.
It's as close as they're going to get this season. Let's be fair. But they got the 3 points. Their unbeaten run is still going. They got 4 points from games against Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah.
When you look at it in a cold-hearted day, in 6 months' time, when we're looking back at the season, you look at the result and it will say 2-1. The context of the game and the context of the performance will get lost in it. But in general, not unhappy with it. I'm looking at it thinking, you know what? The way this league is going, the way you look at the results today, you look at Man City going to Wolves and getting turned over. Manchester United getting turned over. The way this league is at the minute, sides are going to lose games.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Kev, because
I'm pretty relaxed.
I had forgotten how aggrieved we should feel about this because, Chris, the early results on Saturday went brilliantly for Liverpool, didn't they?
They did. I think that's why losing today irks even more. The man has batted off, but I think, that's what irks even more. It was, you had an opportunity to even withdraw with been a point behind City, or if we'd won, we'd have been above City. I mean, look, the gap to City still 2 points. It's early in the season, but mentally, it would have just been a nice little. It would have been a nice thing. But luckily for us, we haven't really lost any ground on the teams around us. I think it's just tightened things up a little bit at the top, which can only be a good thing. I mean, City have got to go. We've got Arsenal next week, so that's not exactly a gimme. So that's going to make it interesting. I think we've got
still no Rodri.
Still no Rodri. Well, I mean, listen, we've got Brighton, and it's which Brighton you get.
Did you watch Brighton today, Chris?
I did. But interestingly, the stat I've seen about Brighton is I think they've lost quite a few games, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, but they're always to the likes of Nottingham Forest, Everton, Villa. They've never had a result like that against any of the traditional top six. They always get within a goal. So I think it's because the way top six teams play, the more expansive, the more like to go at you. Plays to their strengths of hitting on the break. Can't really do that against sides below that because they don't play that way.
Aston Villa looked pretty damn expansive this morning. They absolutely
they did, but
Aston Villa
got spanked by Newcastle, who, apart from when they battered Sheffield United, haven't looked very expansive all season, and they struggle with 10 minutes. We go around in circles every time, don't we? You know what I mean?
The Villa game this morning was so reminiscent of the 7-2 from a couple of years ago. I don't know if you watched saw any of the highlights, Kev. That's what it felt like.
I watched
Villa had 3 deflected shots go into the back of the net.
Yeah, and when you looks in, you looks in. It's like tonight. When you looks in, you take it and you move on. Brighton will win plenty of games. They'll lose games. It's just the nature of the way they play. And the volume of games they're going to be playing, they're going to be caught out from time to time. Same with Villa. With the volume of games they're playing, they're going to get caught out from time to time. It is what it is. Listen, Liverpool released a statement. Well, not a statement as much. They just put out a tweet referring about Cody Gakpo, basically saying that we're waiting to discover the extent of the injury that Cody Gakpo suffered at Tottenham this evening. That's pretty much it. They've just been precautious. They're just taking precautions with him, and we'll go from there. It is what it is. Hopefully, it's just literally a twisted knee or a twisted ankle or something.
Yeah, and it's just like he just sits
nothing
out.
More than that.
Sits out midweek and he's back for Brighton. That's
exactly
kind of what you hope. But listen, I suppose we already know 2 of the starters for the midweek game. It's definitely going to be Jones and Jota because they've definitely got a weekend off. So you may as well in that game. But yeah, the knock-on effect I'm more concerned about is when we did 10 men against Newcastle, Joel Matip had to come off early, and he didn't play the next game against Wolves because he was knackered, muscle fatigue. I think Konate had a similar sort of knock. That's my concern now is what's the knock-on effect going into Brighton and the midweek game of Szoboszlai, McAllister, Matip, Joe Gomez. Some have injury issues, some are still new to the club, getting used to, playing a long time with 10 men, a long time without the ball. it's really it's going to take a lot out of them. That's more than it. That's the other thing that idiots in the PGMOL won't think about is when you get decisions like badly wrong. That's also the knock-on effect is the impact of playing with less men and the fatigue that causes. So and then obviously all these guys got to go in international duty, which let's face it, they all get flogged in international duty anyway. The only good thing for us is I don't think Mo Salah is away this October because Egypt have no games, which is handy. So we actually have an international break with Mo Salah with his feet up, which would be quite nice.
Well, you can shoot another Instagram video. That'll be great.
There'll be another glorious over his top off. We'll all feel like really inadequate, because that's what he does.
The guy has ab muscles that I didn't even know humans could have. So good on him. If I look like that, I'd never wear a shirt either. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if I had a body like that, I would have a shirt on ever.
Yeah. Ashley L sharing some of the post-match comments here. Virgil van Dijk saying, quote, "I'm losing faith. It's difficult to say. The VAR should be absolutely clear and obvious with everything they're deciding on." I've seen the still back. I think on live TV, there were no lines being shown. It's all a bit strange. I don't know who was in the VAR room and making that decision.
Yeah.
Hey, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. But I mean, Kev, I have to say, this is one of the most heavily moderated, as one of the YouTube moderators, there's been more comments tonight that require review. There's another one that require review by us moderators on here. And that shows
I've seen quite a few of them as well.
Yeah, it shows the anger of all of us as fans. But the one thing that I've seen pretty consistently, Kev, throughout this whole thing is that this could steal us. This could be the intense heat that turns iron into steel sort of thing. Like this could be, a blacksmith working on something that I don't see Liverpool wilting under this. I don't see this a grievance against this club breaking down any of our players. If anything, I see all of the players in our dressing room looking around at each other and the managers and the rest of the coaching staff looking at everybody and going like, fuck these dicks. We're going to win this league. Like and there's been so many people that are like, watch Liverpool go on a 15-game winning run after this.
We've just been a while. I think we should do it again. So it'd be great because I think that's what you can do now. You can literally.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. So play on it. Use it. As they always say, turn a negative into a positive. Use it to your advantage, and that is. What else can you do? I think Liverpool of last year, if this has happened, I think we'd have got an 8-game losing streak because I just don't think mentally we were ready to handle any sort of setback. We've proven this year we've had enough setbacks to deal with, some of our own making, and we've come. This is the first one where it's not fell for us. So go for that.
I think Oshie made a great point there. I look at this and I think, that'll be the spark that brings the squad together and the camaraderie will push us on to another crazy run. Absolutely it will. I've no doubt in my mind. I know Brighton will feel aggrieved at the result they have today and the performance and what have you, but God help them when we play them next week. It's going to be one of those games that we're definitely going to go after.
That's good. Last time we got beat by Spurs, didn't we go to European final? Pretty simple.
If you see the video of us losing that game against Spurs with Lovren in what I thought at the time was the last time he would ever put on a Liverpool shirt, I was one of those people that said he should never play for us ever again. But god damn, don't those jerseys look good? Those Kiev final.
I'm just looking at us at the minute, thinking we've so many options in so many positions that we've got strength and depth for the first time in a while. We can go after all of these competitions.
Well, we finished the game with a brand new midfield, and we've still not yet played. Have we actually played our main back four? Have we actually played our main back four for any lot of consistent length of time? It doesn't.
No,
I think maybe.
Don't think so. Kanate was out the first game against Chelsea, I believe, right?
Yeah. So I actually don't think they've actually.
The second league game against Bournemouth, we started with Trent, Ibu, Virgil, and Robbo at the back.
So one game.
This is why you keep.
By the way,
So that's another thing to look at. We haven't a consistent team yet, which is also.
The Premier League on their official Twitter feed has not commented or made reference to or shared the PGMOL statement once. This is an absolute disaster for the Premier League. The fact that
They're trying to
The
find a way to
PGMOL are consistently making this level of game-changing mistakes week in, week out. Week in, week out, Dermot Gallagher is probably one of the most watched and downloaded segments on Sky Sports in a Monday morning in Ref Watch. The fact that Howard Webb was brought in to clean this mess up, he's made it 10 times worse. They're more inconsistent. The rules that they brought in at the start of the season are being completely ignored. No, we'll argue about the red card all day long with Curtis Jones. The fact that they can't even get a fucking line decision right. A blatant line decision. They had the technology there to show them right or wrong. And Chris, you were spot on earlier on what you said. If they had the image, if they had drawn the lines and had the image, they would have blasted that over social media at halftime. That's what they've done in the past. When there's been contentious offside decisions, they've blasted it out on social media at halftime. Not a fucking word, not a peep. The fact that Monday morning, Dermot Gallagher and Stephen Warnock and whoever else is on there with him is going to say, yeah, I was offside, it should have counted, blah, 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 blah. And then the guy will go in ref in the championship for a couple of weeks. You know, he'll have a week off. Maybe he'll go to fucking Abu Dhabi or Dubai for a week and sun himself. Maybe he'll pimp himself off to the Saudi League. Who fucking knows?
Well, Kev, I'm so happy you mentioned the Saudi League because this thought came to me during the game. That
they're taking that bit back.
We saw a disturbing trend of the Saudi Premier League going after the top talent in the international footballing community. The best players were not off the market. Nobody was too expensive for them to buy. And yet they never even once inquired about a Bobby Madley, a Simon Hooper, a John Brooks, a Anthony Taylor. How shit are our refs that they're not even being Clattenburged? Like Clattenburg went after he retired from the Premier League. He went over to Qatar or Abu Dhabi and repped in their league for a year or two and made a stupendous amount of money. The Saudi League will give Jordan Henderson £500,000 a week cash free, but they wouldn't touch Simon Hooper and the VAR crew, Darren England and co, with a £100 million long pole. Is that not saying something? That the Premier League officiating is so poorly thought of that even the Saudis won't try to buy them? It's
the thing is, if you're trying to get your league on telling more eyes, you don't want English refs, do you? Let's be honest. You know, if you're going to get the best refs, they'll go get some ones that are in UEFA because they're not as incompetent as this lot. As like Oshin rightly points out, we saw with the Brentford Everton game, they were trying to disallow a goal, they were drawing the line on the wrong fella. And you could see them draw a line on the wrong fella, and then you can see the guy quickly move the line onto the right fella to get it right. You're going, they were literally we nearly had the same nonsense last week in a completely different game. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm sorry. Look, I know it's being sports, and they're just as good as a guy on Twitter drawing lines on a photo. At the end of the day, the fact that the PGMOL didn't release a still of the official image of the lines that they were supposed to have drawn means they didn't fucking do it. Being sports, someone does on social media and literally got a fucking ruler and a protractor and just went, yeah, that looks right. I'm sorry, it's clickbait. But at the end of the day, the fact that the PGMOL haven't released a still of the image means they never fucking did it. You can tell by the length of time. We've all watched enough football. We all know how long it takes for the lines to be drawn and what have you. They never fucking did it. They didn't do their fucking job. That alone is a sackable offence. You should never be allowed to officiate in the fucking Premier League ever again. You can have contentious decisions. You can make decisions and argue the toss over, did he go over the ball? Did he get him high on the ankle? Was it a red card? Should he have stuck with his guns and went for a yellow? You can argue the toss on that all day long. A line decision is matter of fucking fact. and they have the technology at their disposal to draw the fucking lines, make it so that it's right there in your face. They didn't fucking do it. They should be sacked on the spot and never darken the door of a fucking football game again. I wouldn't trust them bastards on a Premier League on a Sunday League game.
Do you know what? I hope they get City Arsenal next week. Because I'll be honest, it needs it to get like another big game wrong. Because I think then you'll get the Premier League going, oh, come on, lads. You're literally making the whole product look shit now. These are the two biggest games of the weekend, and they all look crap. You know what I mean? Oh, God, my week yesterday was brilliant. It's got shit show today. I'm still having the perfect weekend.
Yeah, well, it started very well. I mean, I feel so bad for Joel Matip. The images of Allison going to him after the match and consoling him, and somebody said there that whether he has the armband or not, Allison is the captain of our team because of all the amazing plays he makes for us. But it's also things like that, just the humanity of it. And I really like to see that because I thought Matip played so well today, and he was just so unfortunate that the last kick of the game effectively goes through the back of our net. I mean, he will never have a better finish. It was better than his finish after his Maisie run against Leeds last season.
I've seen the video of Darwin.
No.
The video of Darwin, so the crowd empties, obviously our fans are still obviously waiting to be let out, it's for away fans. He's come sprinting out, Darwin, train top off, Liverpool shirts on, point to his badge, and he's hyping all the crowd up. Getting them all going, getting them all hyped up. It's like
this is going to galvanise the squad. 100%.
I think that's what I mean, he's that type of character, Nunes, but I think they're just using it as we're not downbeat. We're gonna use this. Let's get going. Let's go. We need.
It's his inner Suarez.
2-3 years.
It's his inner Suarez.
Oh,
one thing. Comment there earlier on. Adrian Dickinson made the comment. VAR made sure that Curtis got sent off.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's still. I agree. The still image was what did it.
The fact that the still image was there is ridiculous. I still look. You guys disagree. I still think it's a red card. The fact that image was the first thing that he saw, he went looking for evidence to justify that still image at the end.
Yeah,
it's just another example, and I'm not going down. I hate going down the conspiracy theory route. I'm not that fucking person. You guys know me, and people in the chat know me long enough.
Let's do it.
I think
people in the chat know me long enough. I'm not that fucking guy, but it's hard to fucking get away from it now that you're getting these decisions, and it's pretty consistent. You know, if there's anything consistent with the refereeing and the officials this season, is the fact that we're going to get fucked by hook or by crooks. We're going to get screwed one way or another, and it's just really unfortunate that the game played out the way it did, and we ended up losing with an own goal, because I think Spurs could have been there for another 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and they still wouldn't have had a clue how to break us down.
Yeah,
you know, Ange is getting all the fucking plaudits, and I love Ange. I think he's a really good manager. I think he's a great coach. I think Spurs are really entertaining and a good side to watch. But the fact that we took off Son early, took off Maddison early, didn't direct his side to play wide and drag us out and try to make 2-on-1s to get in around the back. I think Spurs were fucking shockingly poor when we went down to 9.
Late in the game, Kev, when they were up 2 men and the game was 1-1, they brought on Ben Davies and Oliver Skip to try to win the game.
It's just fresh legs, wasn't it, at that point? Because I'll be honest.
Yeah, it was fresh legs, but when you look at it and you think,
all they have is defensive midfielders on their bench. How do Spurs have 5 number 6s and we have none?
They have injury issues, but at the same time, I look at it and I'm thinking, I was actually more worried about the likes of Ben Davies and Højbjerg coming on than I was about the players who were on the pitch, because those players coming on have experience and know-how. You know, the manager will have told them something, but those players will know. You're playing against 9. You stretch the fucking pitch. you make it as wide as possible, and you flood the box. They did nothing of that. I thought it was pure dumb luck. And the fact that we're sat here talking about a 2-1 loss when we should be sat here talking about a 1-1 draw and giving absolute pelters to Spurs is pure dumb fucking luck. That's all it is. It was nothing that Ange did. It was nothing that Spurs did. It was nothing tactical. It was nothing ingenious. It was pure dumb fucking luck. Take your luck. You got your 3 points. Take your luck.
Bring your kids onto the pitch to celebrate the luck.
Well, let's concentrate on us, though, because let's be fair. Apart from Jota, all the subs that came on did well for us. Endo was brilliant. Bless him. Again, fucking poor Endo when he comes on the Premier League. It's bad enough he comes on with 10 men. Now it's 9. I bet he's just like, lads, it's just like a piss take with Endo, isn't it? As soon as Endo appears, we lose players. I'm convinced Endo might be a jinx. That's his superpower. That's his superpower. Is that when he appears, one Liverpool player just doesn't.
Has to disappear for the rest of the game. I'll say this about Endo. I heard this on, I can't remember which podcast, but in the week, listened to all the post-match and build-up content for all of Liverpool's games. Somebody saying that Thursday was the first day that Endo's kids were going to school in Liverpool.
Yeah.
That he'd finally finished his move. That is such a big deal. He's at the twilight. He's approaching the twilight of his professional career. His family is of the utmost importance to him. He's not a young up-and-coming kid where the future in football is the most important thing for him. He's on the down, he's starting the down side of his thing. It's so big for him. A lot of people jump to ridiculous conclusions about Endo, but I mean, he can only get better luck from here on forward. Like, he's going to get the League Cup and the Europa League games, I think, without question, from here on out. Like, every midweek game, he's starting until Christmas, right, Chris?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, loads of the chat say don't blame him. I'm going, it's fun. It's just fun. It's better fun. But you gotta love a DM who puts a gum shield and just stares refs out. I mean, he's more intimidating. You know what I mean? But Gravenberch came on. I thought he did well. He gave us a bit of athleticism. Made sense to take McAllister off because we could have been down to 8. I had this sneaky feeling he was going to send McAllister off for time wasted, walking off the pitch. Szoboszlai again was really good. Trent looked good when he came on. I thought defensively he did well, left back and right back. So more minutes in Canate's legs, which is always a good thing. So that's only 6th goal we've conceded this year. I think we still have the most points from losing position. So there's still lots of things.
First game this season where we've conceded more than 1 goal. Lots of good statistics come from this game, and that's the biggest thing that I'm taking from this. I mean, we've already done an hour and 20 minutes. So sorry, Gav, we've gone longer than we're supposed to be doing. But just as we round up here, again, everybody, please hit the like button. There's still 250 some of you guys in here watching, you guys, gals, and all of the others. Please hit the thumbs up button for us. Share, comment on it. Please join the YouTube chat if you're available. Come on in tomorrow night. It is going to be spicy, like an Indian takeaway tomorrow night in the chat. So please join for the full-time Reds tomorrow night with Gav and all the people there with us. But Kev, as much as getting 0 points, getting our first loss in 17, 18 games, whatever it was, all these streaks broken, I'm having a tough time taking a lot of negatives if I just think about Liverpool. If I eliminate the referees and the PGMOL and all the tinfoil hat stuff, I can only take positives from this, Kev. I'm absolutely pumped for Thursday against Union Saint-Gilloise in the Europa League at home, and then next weekend away to Brighton. This team now, today makes me... I don't know if you remember, I'm pretty sure it was a fat back 4 after maybe West Ham at the start of March or April in the quadruple chasing season. There was a fat back 4 where Shawnee started talking about quadruple chasing, and it was the most Braveheart speech podcast I'd ever listened to. And it just made me swell with positivity about Liverpool. And we almost did unbelievably great things that season. And I think that this could be one of those moments for us that it's just a fucking line in the sand. Jurgen can get in there. There's no better man manager in the entire world of football management than Jurgen Klopp, I'm convinced. And that the Premier League needs to look out.
Yeah, I'll be honest, mate. I don't have the vocabulary of a Shirley Lawson, but it's that moment,
You
isn't
do.
it? It's
Yeah.
the adversity you can take from defeat. And you're right. Jurgen Klopp is single-handedly the best manager in world football. He will use this to galvanize this squad as the PR stuff is Liverpool 2.0. This is a brand new Liverpool squad who've achieved nothing together. By the end of this season, we're going to achieve something. I'm convinced of it. I didn't believe it at the start of the season. I didn't know what we could do. I am convinced that we're going to achieve something this season. And this set of players have the technical ability, and now they're going to have the heart and the inner belief that
The fury,
the
fury,
yeah,
Kev,
injustice,
fury,
indignation, injustice,
yes,
pissed off, angry, ready for a fight. I can't wait for Thursday night. I cannot wait to rattle these fuckers when we play them on Thursday night. And the lads who were on the bench tonight, the lads who were sat at home watching this shit, come out on Thursday night in front of a packed Anfield, and Anfield fucking roars this lot home on Thursday night. And then we send them off to Brighton next weekend, and we slap the taste out of their mouth and all. And we really put it up to this league, because the refs aren't going to give us anything. The league aren't going to give us anything. The only thing we can do is fucking take it.
Yeah.
Take it for what it is. That tonight it was a 2-1 loss, and against 9 men, it took an own goal in the 96th minute to beat us, because they weren't going to fucking do it themselves.
Yeah, that's why I love this comment from Anthony. This comment from Anthony Gray: Darwin might kill a man. Like that's
you might kill Jota.
All that Agent of Chaos stuff that comes out, he wouldn't, because it just guarantees his spot in the team. Like, we're picking from 4. It's Salah plus 2 out of the 4 other forwards, and now it's down to 3. So that means that Darwin's going from the start. He's probably going to play 3 in a row before the international break.
It's probably going to be Jota, Nunes, Doak, I would say, against Union.
And then Nunes will play against Brighton.
With Diaz and Salah, yeah.
There's a decent chance that we play Nunes again. Do we have a Thursday before the international break, or does it break straight away?
No, Brighton's the last game, I think, for the international break.
Nunes will start the next 2 almost nailed on. And
hopefully he's yanked out of the next international break.
I thought it was something else then, Kev.
Oh.
Don't go blue. It's not there yet.
We're playing these 2 games, and then, sorry, Marcelo.
He's picked that knee's just niggled again. That just niggled again. It'll be fit in 2 weeks.
Yeah, his bone spirits are off. He's going to need to see an osteopath or something like that. But I mean, this has been.
Come to see me also, mate.
Who's man of the match?
It's Allison Becker. It's Allison Becker. Because if it's not for Allison, we lose that game 4 or 5.
Virgil's a good shout as well.
To be fair, before
Robbo. I thought Robbo was fucking outstanding. Some of Robertson's covering tackles. We never got around to talking about it. The amount of times that Robertson was covering on the opposite wing, ridiculous amount of fucking ground he covers. Yeah. But I think Virgil was brilliant. I think Robbo was really good. Joel was really good. Unfortunate at the end.
I thought Gomez was really good.
No.
I thought Gomez had a really good game. I think he just came up with legs.
Joe was really good.
Nobody but Jota was below a 7 out of 10. Honestly, we played so well, but we just kept going down another man and another man. Like, if the game would have had 15 extra minutes of added time, we would have been down another man, almost certainly. Like, I think that's just the way the math works.
Do you know what? I was waiting for Nunes to get sent up from the bench, because that'd just be our luck.
Peter Krawietz gets his first red card. That would have been.
What did Nunes get sent? What did Nunes get sent for? He headbutted Jota on his way out. He was so pissed off he had to sit down.
All right.
I'll say
after tonight's show, we're knocking the Jota stuff on the head. Right?
Oh yeah.
Diogo Jota, the frustration is there with Jota because of his idiocy.
I did this with Allison in his first season when he had a bollock up against Brighton when he just had a brain fart. What's the game?
This shit happens.
Yeah. Just one thing for Can I be self-indulgent
Go.
for 1 minute if that's allowed? Women's show went live today, so that's on YouTube. So what's a bit cheery? That's on there. It's me, Philippa Sword, and Emma Sanders. And if you haven't seen it, I surprisingly got invited to a media day at Liverpool yesterday. So on our Twitter feed and our Instagram feed is pictures from inside Melwood, pictures of the women training. I managed to get a 90-second interview with Missy Bo-Kearns. I got sitting in the press conference with Matt Beard. So bit of a wild bucket list day. As Kev knows, I've been following women's football now for about 7 years. So I've gone from a fat lad who mentioned it occasionally on pods to go to a media day, which is all a bit surreal, to be honest. So, and the women's game kick off tomorrow. They've got a bastard of an opening game away to Arsenal, and unfortunately, I think we've got quite a few players out with illness and injury. So could be interesting. But that's my little self-indulgent thing.
I love the stuff you shared in our Telegram group, Chris, and it's available across Twitter or whatever it's called nowadays. Now, that's so great for you, man. You do a ton of good work around the women's team, and you're really invested in it. I unfortunately just don't have. There's only so many hours in the day to give to different things.
I'll get you converted, man.
Yeah, I believe me, if I could go to the games, I love the idea of an affordable ticket to go and watch top level sport. Whether it's men's or women's, it's so hard to get a decent cost for any ticket to go see any sporting event nowadays. Even the Canadian Football League, the tickets are getting just absolutely outrageous. So it's great what they're doing to build the game, and you're a part of that. So I'm super happy you got to go and experience that and go see Melwood recovered from whatever weird limbo it was caught in there for a couple of years. Why Liverpool ever let Melwood out of their grasp is beyond my understanding. But
yeah, they've openly admitted that if they could go back in time, they wouldn't have done what they did. But luckily, Carragher and Fowler took it over.
Yeah,
so that's helped.
Yeah, I mean that's great. And that podcast, I'm gonna have to give that a listen here this weekend. Philippa Smallwood and Emma Saunders. Those are heavy hitters right there. That's like the early days of the LFC Daytrippers getting like proper accredited journalists on with you for shows, not just Kev and myself. Just the eye candy and the all the extra words. But yeah, I can't wait. Kev, I know almost certainly you'll be there tomorrow night. Chris as well in the chat for the Fatback Four. There's nothing quite like a Fatback Four after a spicy weekend's worth of football to really top it all off. So you got any parting words before we get out of here, Kev?
Enjoy Saturday night. I'm glad at the fact that after 1 hour and 27 minutes and 52 seconds, we're all in the chat and us on screen, we're smiling. We've lost 2-1, but we're smiling because we know there's better things to come.
Yeah, and good luck to Spurs. Spurs are far better than I thought they'd be at the start of the season. Before understanding what Ange Ball was actually about, good for them. I said some unsavory things towards my brother-in-law, who is a Spurs fan today, about the result of today's game. But hey, water under the bridge. Water under the bridge. Anything else before we get out of here, Chris?
No, nothing from me. I've done my piece.
All right, that sounds all good. So again, if you're watching us on your way out, if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button on YouTube. If you're listening on a podcast download after the fact, thank you for joining us on Full Time Reds. We really, really, really appreciate it. Give us a 5-star rating. Share it with any of your friends that are into the football or Liverpool fans especially, because I think we do a pretty decent job over here on the LFC Daytrippers. Get involved in the live YouTube chat if you can, because it is the best chat going out there for Liverpool content. We have an unbelievable community of people in here. So I wish you all a good Saturday evening. Please tune in tomorrow night. It's 24 and a half hours until the Fatback Four, and I, for one, cannot wait. But this has been Full Time Reds. It finished very disappointingly at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham 2/referees 2, Liverpool 1. We'll see you guys on the next Full Time Reds. Bye-bye.